Hey, how you guys doing? It's your boy Beasley back at it again with another CFB 26 video. But today, you amazing, awesome people who take time out of your day to watch my content, we are doing a different style of CFB 26 video. Let me know if you would like me to convert this into a series moving forward, where it's kind of more of a reaction, or more of a react kind of style video, where it's less of me giving you tips and tricks and the other little stuff I do on my channel, but more about me just critiquing and, talking about other people's video, because believe it or not, even though we do live in the big 2025 and we have a lot of, experience and so much more, people still be out here tossing out fraudulent, bad information, giving people the worst advice and resulting in people having awful online dynasties, as a lot of you guys remind me every single time I stream and or post a video. So by no means am I giving you the green light to go harass, irate, and just, be a absolute POS to this person. No, do not do that. If I see a single person in my community go into this comment section of this video or any of his videos and just give this man excessive hate, you will be banned. Let that get the disclaimer out the gate first. You will be banned. I will not tolerate this stuff. Just because this guy gives bad advice, gives bad information, I will correct said bad information in this video. But that does not give you the green light to go be an awful human. No. As of the time of me recording this video, I have no problems with this gentleman. It's just he doesn't really care about the words he speaks that come out of his mouth. He gives you a bunch of verbal diarrhea for CFP content. And unfortunately, at the time of me recording this video is at 17K views. So there have been quite a few people, to say the least, that have watched this video, and the sheer amount of misinformation that is in this video kind of irked me. Also, full disclosure, I've already seen portions of this video. I have not watched the full video. For context, I have watched this portion right here. We will cover it later in the video, where more or less someone sent me a screenshot saying, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I was like, you know what? Before I judge the man, let me go watch the full video in its context. We're probably not going to, I'll see what I chop this video up to. I'll probably edit out the parts where like nothing meaningful happens. But yeah, it's a video by Dadson. I think it's Dadson, but I'm not going to call you my dad, because I think that's weird to have people on the internet call you dad. So I'm going to call you DS for the remaining of this video. Short. DS made a video, The Secret to Building a God Squad in CFB 26. I would presume this is in context to Dynasty, because he gives out Dynasty tips, but just... maybe it's just me. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. But as someone who's played Ultimate Team my entire life, literally been playing this game since Madden, I think 13, Madden 12. I think it was Madden 12. It might have been Madden 13. I forget the first year they did Ultimate Team. But God Squad is like synonymous with like the most expensive team in the game. Interesting verbiage there for the video. But 17K views, 379 likes on this video. Done pretty well in the algorithm. And DS... let's see if I give you the full context of the video, if it makes me any less irritated on the nonsense you speak.
Okay, I'm about to hurt some feelings right now. Most of y'all are out here recruiting your dynasty like it's NCAA 14. You're leaving insane talent just sitting on the boards like clearance items nobody's scanned yet. The biggest recruiting secret in CFB 26 is this: stop obsessing over stars and start looking at archetypes. The 1% of players that build God Squads do not chase the 5 shiny stars. They hunt for the player builds. You want dogs, not decoration. I promise you, once you learn to read these player profiles the right way, your whole dynasty flips. You'll go from begging for commits to having the portal lined up like they're trying to get into a club.
So, already, if I had the time or energy to have like a misinformation counter in the top left of the screen, I'd have like a ding here. No, you are full of shit. I agree with him that he is correct in the sense that you shouldn't just hard tunnel 5 stars, because you could easily find normal dev and impact dev 5 stars. You don't want normal and impact dev players. You want elite / generational / star dev players. You want the good players to become good players. So he is correct that the people who just go 5-star hunting, to quote another content creator who I do like, shout out Tanner. But yeah, 5-star hunting's fun. It's super lazy. I do it in my stream sometimes when I'm just, again, being super lazy. But if you're doing your due diligence, if you're doing like your min-max, you shouldn't be hard tunneling 5 stars. You shouldn't. Because even though there's not a ton of them, a good portion of 5 stars with 0 effort are normal / impact dev players. And again, you don't want them on your team. You want the good players. So he's right in the sense of like, don't just get the flashy 5-star. But he's unequivocally 1000% incorrect that you should be hunting archetypes. No, that's not how dev traits work. Archetypes just don't have higher dev traits than other archetypes. Now, they have different spawn rates, right? Like, obviously, the east-west playmaker running back will spawn more than the north-south blocker. Shout out my newest The Potential Prodigy series if you would like to actually get, you know, good recruiting information to actually recruit good players and not just nonsensical BS like most content creators do on this platform for college football. Go watch my series. It'll be linked in the description along with my other series. If there's any questions, you guys can go watch those. But yeah, archetypes don't change dev traits. That's not how it works. So I could have a elite dev pocket passer or an elite dev athlete, you know, dual threat QB, or I got an elite dev backfield creator, right? That does, just because one archetype has it doesn't mean it's stupid. That's not how it works. So already out the gate, you said one correct thing, that people shouldn't just hard tunnel 5 stars, and I do agree. But then you followed up with just some nonsense of like, go after these archetypes now. That's just again not how it works.
Welcome back, coaches. Dadson Gaming here with another CFB 26 Dynasty video. And all the tips that I give in all of my videos are coming from things I actually have to do every single day, because I am in a highly competitive and sweaty, serious Dynasty with players that have 10 plus years experience, and they are very, very good at all aspects of this game. So anytime.
Wait. Okay, so this is the portion I've already kind of seen. By kind of, I mean this portion, not, I didn't get to hear the words for slide 1 and slide 2. I've heard slide 3, but not slide 1 or 2. Wait a minute. Didn't he just open the video, like in the first 45-second intro? Didn't he open the video saying people play this game like NCAA 14, which is wrong, because I agree you shouldn't play this game like NCAA 14. They're two different games. They play completely differently. But you just said it's bad that people play it like the old games, but then you just said you have 10 years of experience. My brother in Christ, there have been 2 college football games, CFB 25 and 26, right? I've been playing Madden my entire life. I've been playing Ultimate Team, Regs, Dynasty, whatever. But I think we all can objectively agree here. Dynasty is very different to franchise mode. So all the years of experience I have with Ultimate Team, all the years I have with franchise, that doesn't really mean anything here. Like, most of the skills you learn, like, example, working a salary cap, doesn't apply here. The gameplay does, right? All the gameplay tips and tricks, those still apply, because gameplay is gameplay, right? It's the same, made by the same company, same or similar devs, similar problems, right? But a lot of the tips and tricks for like the back end stuff is completely different to the game. So I just think it's I kind of ironic that you open the clip saying, LOL, you shouldn't play this game like the old games, but then your reference point is like, I have all this experience for a game that's for a franchise, I should say, that's 2 years old. Now, maybe I'm, looking too deep into this. The 10 years of experience could be in reference of him having 10 years of online Dynasty experience, which, if that's the case, that's even less of a flex. Like, 10 years, really? I mean, again, I'm not trying to have like a dick measuring contest here, but like I've played hundreds of seasons. Like, the tips and tricks I give are backed by data and actual proof. And this guy's flex is like, I have 10 years of experience. I don't know if that's in reference to 10 years of an online Dynasty, which is still not a lot. I don't know if that's in reference to like 10 years of him playing EA games, which, again, most of that data/info doesn't carry over. So I just, again, find it cute that the intro to this is conflicting with your own self.
Thing I use and have success on, I'm bringing to you from real world experience. And today I want to talk about discovering talent that is sitting right under your nose, and you may be missing it and your Dynasty is missing it too. But I'm going to show you how to find a gold mine. Now, what you're looking at right now is a prospect, BJ Foster, that is in our current recruiting portal. Now, again, we are in the regular season and not the transfer portal, and this is one of the top quarterbacks in the class. Now, if we take a look at his stats, they look pretty good. He is an archetype of a pocket passer: 93 throw power, 85 short accuracy, 82 medium accuracy, 77 deep accuracy. And as you look at the throw and run, 78, break sack 64, speed 75, acceleration 81. Surely has a lot of room to develop, and he is a 5-star, 6'3", 190. Then we have another quarterback. Again, that is a 4-star gem, and awareness is a little lower. The throw power is lower. The accuracy is lower. The medium accuracy is lower. The deep accuracy is lower. And again, the speed is a little higher. The acceleration is higher. And again, the break sack is 1 point higher. Under pressure is 1 point higher. And throw on the run is 82. And this archetype is a dual threat quarterback. Now, when we look at both of these quarterbacks, the one on the left, BJ Foster, is a 5-star recruit. The one on the right, Max Swan, is a 4-star gem, just as good as a 5-star.
Oh my god, there I went like 35, 40 seconds without pausing just because I was in fucking pure mental overload. I was literally overly stimulated with just the pure nonsense that was just flung my way. Okay, let's just get out the gate. Why the living hell are you comparing, first of all, a 4-star to a 5-star? Second of all, why are you comparing a pocket passer to a dual threat? Third of all, dude, we're in the big 2025 and you're still peddling that nonsense? If you don't know what I'm in reference to, when CFB 25 launched, Poodle, a lot of content creators, I can't name very many, Jaden, you get the point, right? A lot of the content creators, when CFB 25 launched, they said, because the game, EA wasn't very forthright with like what the red gems meant and the green gems meant, which red gems would later be converted to busts, and you get the point. But we weren't very told explicitly what they were. And so it led to a lot of videos and content creators and whatnot, posting stuff where like, this 3-star gem's actually a 4-star, this 4-star gem's actually a 5-star, this 5-star gem's actually a 6-star generational talent. And EA was like, LOL, that's not how it works. Like, people were making so much, misinformation about what are these little gems, what do the little jewels mean on the next to the player icon, that EA was like, no, it's dev trait and skill caps. That's it. There's no, he's a secret 6-star. No, it's not that he's better than, no. The star rating dictates their initial stat thresholds, the range. The gem tells you this person has a dev trait. The gem does not guarantee they are a generational prospect, an elite prospect, or a star dev prospect. All that little gem says is that they have a dev trait, which means they can be either impact devs, slightly better than normal, or generational god tier. You get a massive range to work with. That's all that means. So how are we in 2025 in CFB 26 after so many blog posts and just so many things, and we are still calling them the wrong thing? That's not what that gem means. And I would say you should know better because of your, and I quote, 10 years of experience. But to me, it doesn't seem like you know at all what you're talking about, which, again, you're comparing a 5-star and a 4-star. You're comparing a pocket passer to a dual threat. You're comparing just apples to oranges, and you're like, LOL, here's why. Like, no shit, the pocket passer is going to have better throwing stats than the dual threat. That's the point of the pocket passing archetype. Like, what are we doing here? So just missing, I think we're up to like 4, 5. I literally stopped counting, but misinformation number something. Not good, not good.
But what if I told you that neither one of these quarterbacks have the best skill, and even though they're ranked nationally, the BJ Foster ranked number 2 nationally, Max Swan ranked 431 nationally, I'm going to show you something that is going to drop.
I'm going to go ahead and include it in this video. National ranking means nothing. If you recruit as much as I do in this game and or how much I stream, if you don't believe me, you can fact check me. I stream almost every day, right? So you can see it live, no edits, no cuts, yada, yada, yada. But national ranking means nothing. The number 1 prospect in the country could be a normal dev bust, and the number 412th prospect could be a generational, god. The national ranking means nothing. Again, the only thing that matters is the star rating, and the star rating dictates the initial stats. And keyword is like ranges. Not every 5-star has the same stat, range. Not every 4-star. It's kind of, within a cluster or a margin. But the national ranking means nothing. So him flexing, he's the number 1 QB in the class, number 2 in the nation, means nothing. He could be a normal dev or impact dev like everyone else. So that doesn't mean anything.
Your jaw wide open. Check out this recruit, Carl Allen, a recruit that nobody is literally looking at, and one that I happened to find through some advanced scouting. Let's take a look at awareness. Okay, he has a 70 awareness, which is higher than the 4-star gem, which actually makes him really, really good. Has he?
Oh my god. Okay, again, I'm going to respond to this in the connotation that he has, and I quote, 10 years of experience, 10, which, whatever that means. And he's also in an online dynasty. So the connotation here is a lot of experience plus online dynasty. My brother in Christ, the awareness rating does nothing when you're playing the games in an online dynasty. Awareness and play rec Those two stats matter for the CPU, not for the user. So if you're in charge of the player, which is on offense, typically the QB when you snap the ball, a running back when you hand off the ball, and unless you're a psychopath, most people click on to tight ends and receivers before they catch the ball. If you click on and play as said player, awareness does nothing. I'm going to repeat myself. Awareness does nothing. So the fact the first stat he jumped to is that his awareness is 2 points better than the other guy is asinine. Because you're using, again, in an online dynasty, the quarterback. Like, the only time awareness would actually matter is if you're playing with or you're having the idea or the concept of buying an ability, and that ability needs awareness. Then obviously pump up the awareness. But for an online league where you're playing as your QB, I would probably say 99.9% of the snaps, the awareness rating does nothing. So why are we putting so much impact on a stat that does nothing?
Highest short accuracy at 86, has the highest medium accuracy at 85, and has the highest deep ball accuracy at 84, and also has a good throw on the run at 81, and his under pressure is higher than both, and his break sack is higher than both. Speed is pretty decent, and he has the highest acceleration. Now, if you look at...
I just realized I should have pointed this out earlier in the video. This motherfucker has managed to successfully compare 3 different quarterbacks of 3 different star ratings and also 3 different archetypes. But Beastly, they're both dual threats. No. If you watch my Potential Prodigy series, you always know that I separate athletes as their own archetype because athletes have a different on average stat spread than their regular counterpart. The best example I can give you is a dual threat to a dual threat athlete. Now, unfortunately for this comparison, it's a 3-star to a 4-star. But if you do 5-star to 5-star dual threat athletes versus regular dual threats, on average, a 5-star dual threat athlete will have significantly more speed. Like most 5-star regular dual threats have somewhere between 80 and like 84 speed on average. Every now and then you'll find that generational guy with like 86 or 88. But you can find dual threat athlete 5-stars with 91, 92, 94 speed. That's not even close. They're the same, star rating at 5-star, but one's an athlete, one's not. Because athletes in this game are meant to have high physical stats and less mental stats. Hence why they're an athlete, right? This guy has insane throw power. He has 94 throw power, which is really high. But he's an athlete. It's supposed to be high. This guy has pretty good acceleration at 88, which is good. But again, it's supposed to be high. He's an athlete. The other funny thing is I'll show you examples that he doesn't do in this video later in my video. But the problem with athletes, and it's just not QB athletes, it's running back athletes, it's defensive line athletes, it's all athletes across the board. EA Sports giga nerfed them in CFB 26, right? In CFB 25, the launch, people were going crazy with dual threat QB athletes. If you didn't get to play the launch of CFB 25, if you want to fact check me, go ahead. There's probably hundreds of YouTube videos you can go find. But at the launch of CFB 25, all athletes were incredibly just, whether you want to call it overtuned, glitched, bugged, whatever you want, whatever vernacular you want to use, they were outperforming way too well. You were finding 3-star dual threat athlete QBs with like 98 speed. You were finding, 3-star thumpers, athlete thumpers with like 95 speed. And, when you play the games, speed is king. Speed always matters. Speed's the most important stat when you're playing the game. So when an online league, everyone just gravitated toward the dual threat, or the athletes, whatever, because they were significantly faster than everybody else. And it wasn't even close. But the problem was that even though they were significantly faster, stronger, whatever, their mental stats were the same as regular players. So why would I ever choose a regular dual threat QB when I can do a dual threat athlete who has the same throw power or the same throwing stats, but better throw power? Why would I ever do that? And then about a month, or maybe it's been, 3-4 weeks, I don't remember exactly, but shortly after the launch, EA just across the board nerfed all athletes. They nerfed their speed. You weren't finding those crazy 98 speed, 98 throw power QBs anymore. They nerfed them to be pretty, I don't want to say bad, but what you would expect. We're like, yeah, you can have that QB with 90 speed and 95 throw power, but their throwing stats are going to suck. Yeah, you could have that linebacker who's really fast, but he's going to be undersized and, not very good at the run game. And then in this game, they just took that nerf a step further. Again, you can find generational prospects of all shapes and sizes, of all archetypes, and of all dev traits across the board. You can do that. But again, by and large, generally speaking, most of the time, athletes in this game are going to be normal or impact dev, and they're going to be inferior than their base counterpart. Because the point, if you will, is that with an athlete, you can move them around. With the regular person, you're stuck with what they are, right? So a regular East-West playmaker is only going to ever play an East-West playmaker running back. But a athlete East-West playmaker, you can move them to corner, safety, tight end, right? You can move them all across the board. So their stats have to be more generalized because you can move them around. You can't move around regular players. Well, you can, but you'll suffer a penalty, but that's not the point. So this is just, he's comparing apples to oranges to watermelons, and he's like, it's just, again, to quote himself, not me, himself, he has 10 years of experience, so he should know better, which concerns me he doesn't know better.
All three of these quarterbacks, you would say, wow, why is this 3-star better than these 4 and 5 stars? Well, the answer is archetypes.
Oh my God. Dude, at this point, I don't know how you managed to choose the wrong dialogue option with every single interaction, but no. This dude is not... I mean, yes, he's technically correct that, like, archetypes, but, like, he's not explaining why. I just mentioned athletes have higher base stats. So, that's why. On average, they are faster and have more throw power than everybody else. That's why. But he just assumes it's because it's the dual threat part. But no, it's the athlete, it's the position, not the archetype that's causing this. Now, the other really funny thing that EA Sports does is, well, Beastly, even if you just ignore the speed, acceleration, and throw power, this dude still has phenomenal short, medium, and deep. Yes, but they do that on purpose, right? Typically, with normal dev players, they can't develop very much. They do that. They offset the lack of development with higher base stats and higher base overall. So coming out the gate, Carl Allen might be the highest overall player of all three of these QBs. He might be like a 75, 74, mid to high 70s, which these other two could be like 71, like they could be, lower. But if they have dev traits and this guy's normal dev, who the hell cares what their base stats are and their base overall is if Carl Allen's never going to develop and the other two do? Like, who cares? I don't know anybody who ever recruits players for their initial stats or their initial gameplay, right? If you're starting a true freshman QB, you've done screwed your dynasty up 7 ways from Sunday. Like, what are you doing? That's even the point of the portal. Like, last year you could make the excuse of like, well, the transfer portal really didn't work. But this year the transfer portal's giga busted. There's thousands of players in the portal. If you have a QB problem, you can go get you a junior or a senior QB, and they're going to be decent, right? May not be the best, but decent if you're worried about just playing right now. But it's just...
When you're searching, you have to search archetypes, and sometimes the best players are not going to be 5 stars. They're not going to be 4-star gems. They might just be a 3-star. And yes, their development has a ceiling. And again, we don't know what that ceiling is. But out of the box, the quarterback that's a 3-star is the most ready to start. Now, I'm going to go to my actual recruiting board and show you these.
Yeah, but why? Why do you care about a true freshman's stats to initially start? Why are you sacrificing year 2, year 3, year 4 with this recruit just to have a good year 1? Like, yeah, I know in this game, unlike last year, you can change dev traits. I'm well aware. But dev traits don't change stat caps. So who cares if Carl Allen, if you can have, back-to-back-to-back Heismans and he throws for 1 billion yards and 1 billion touchdowns, who cares if he's a normal dev player with normal dev stat caps? It doesn't matter what his dev trait is. He can't fix that. I mean, I guess technically you could if you do the position swap glitch, but like, I'm not gonna factor into glitches here when I'm doing this. I'm gonna act like most people in most situations where they don't glitch the game to break stat caps. So, not good. Okay, so we're gonna just skip the next 3.5 minutes of yapping. Basically, he shows his recruiting board where he's like, I don't get why no one's going after him. It's really simple. I mean, I guess I also should have probably explained this in the video, but I guess it's going here. QB is one of those positions where you don't need like 20 of them, right? Like, you need several running backs for wear and tear, for injuries. You need several receivers because you could have 5 receiver sets, right? Certain positions, you need more of them because you can have more, even like tight ends, right? There's packages where you have 2, 3, tight ends on the field. There's, I think, probably 4 or 5 packages in the game where you have 2 QBs on the field, and like all of them are in the Penn State playbook. Like, you don't typically need that many quarterbacks. If I'm being honest, you typically have one QB who's the guy who's supposed to start. That's typically going to be either a juice sophomore or a junior/senior. Then behind him, you have a guy who's developing, who's not quite there yet, but he's getting there. Again, can be a sophomore, can be a junior, but he's getting there. And then your third stringer is someone who's nowhere close to starting, who's a freshman, who needs time to develop. Most people don't have more than 3, maximum 4 QBs on their roster because there's no need. Right? You shouldn't be recruiting 15 quarterbacks. That's stupid. So the reason why no one's going after Carl Allen is A, they probably are aware athletes have inflated stats, which makes them scary. B, the odds of a 3-star being a generational prospect is really low, so why would I risk my future on a really low chance? And C, they might have already several QBs. Just to quote my Indiana dynasty for a moment, I have 94 overall Mendoza as my starting QB. He is going to leave me this year to be a first-round pick, which is pretty nice. My backup is, I believe, either his brother or his cousin, who's also named Mendoza, who is impact dev like 71, 72 overall. When I get done with this season, he's going to have enough points to be my starting QB next year, and possibly the year after that. I have 2 years with him, possibly. I am nowhere needing for QB for several years in this dynasty, several. So I'm not going after QBs. I don't know how many people are in his online dynasty, but if they're using teams that already have good starting QBs and depth, why would they continue going after QBs? So the whole like no one's going after them thing is a more reflection of the other people's recruiting and less of this player being hard to find.
So folks, this is what I suggest you do. When you go to your prospect list, I definitely want you to go and click the Y for search. And then whatever position you're looking for, what you want to do basically is whatever it is you're looking for, you literally just want to go, I'm going to do quarterback since I already did it. You want to go position and you want to determine which archetype you want. And for me, I like the dual threat. And I'm looking for a really good dual threat. You want to move the minimum star rating to at least 3 because again, you're not going to find 2 stars that good, but 3.
Okay, I'm done watching this video. I've not watched this portion, but I would presume he yaps about finding QBs with a filter and just how god tier this prospect is. The you can't find 2 stars this good is really funny, and here's why. Because unlike him, I will actually show you a player, I will actually show you their stats, and I will actually show you their dev trait. I won't have to hide or make it, ambiguous. Well, Beasley, technically he could be elite dev. Yeah, technically every prospect he showed in this video could be elite dev. Technically, just like I have, technically I could walk outside my house and get struck by lightning, right? Technically, I can go surfing in my lake and get eaten by a bull shark, right? The odds aren't 0, but like, why would I anticipate a 0.000 whatever chance in life? That's dumb, right? Like, what's the point here? And just to show you I'm not, lying to you, I have this series called Terry 2-Star, and it's exactly what it sounds like. I took a coach, I coached Temple, and the entire series I was restricted to only recruiting 2 stars. Now, this is the reason why you have to be very, very, very careful with athletes. Here's going to be this portion of said video. So here we go. We have a QB on my Terry 2-Star account named Quint Trimble. Great name. He's a 2-star dual threat athlete, impact dev QB, which for the series ended up becoming a very good QB. So there you go. He was nationally ranked 2,835. He was ranked 53rd in the state, and he was ranked 182 at his position. Yeah, dude was cheeks. And guess what? He was very good. Because this means nothing like I've mentioned, but either way, I digress. As you can see, I'll read off his stats just for my audio listeners in the back who are working their 9 to 5. I appreciate you. Thank you for being an outstanding member of society. Much love. But, awareness, whatever. He's a 2-star, whatever. Same throw power at 94. You're going to see a trend here. 94 throw power, the exact same. 82 speed. My guy's actually faster. His was 80. Mine's 82. Mine's slightly faster. His had better acceleration. Mine is 82. His was 88. There's a couple key differences here and there. But look at the throwing stats. Same throw short. Same throw medium. Mine is slightly worse throw deep, right? Mine has better throw under pressure. His has better break sack. Like, these 2 QBs, you could pretty much overlap them. And they're pretty much identical in many avenues. This dude was an impact dev QB. Because, statistically speaking, most 3 stars in this game are normal dev or impact dev. A vast majority are. A lot of people always ask me in my Potential Prodigy series why I only ever show 4 and 5-star athletes. The reason why is because I can show you what a generational 3-star looks like. I can. But that's a 0.0 whatever chance of spawning, right? If a vast majority of 3-stars and 2-stars and 1-stars are normal dev, and then the ones that aren't normal dev are impact dev, and then that last few percent is split between being generational, being star dev, and elite dev, why would I show someone that's like a 1 in 1,000 chance? I'm just setting people up to fail, and unlike other people, I actually care about the information I provide. So there you go. Guy's phenomenal stats, and he was an impact dev. But Beastly, that's just one example. You can't expect me to believe your opinion, to believe your statement, to believe your facts as facts with just one example. And I completely agree, which is why I don't have just one example. I have multiple. So if this looks at all anywhere familiar, that's because this is my Potential Prodigy series coach, basically where I make save files to record and analyze data points. You guys don't need all that mumbo jumbo. If this looks familiar, just know that's where I pulled this from. And I went and grabbed 14 3-star dual threat athletes. Now we're going to scroll down here and I'm going to ask you if you can see a trend here, shall we? QB1, normal dev. QB2, normal dev. QB3, normal dev. 4, normal. 5, normal. 6, normal. 7, normal. 8, normal. And 9, normal. But Beastly, you found 9 normal dev dual threat athletes, even though that is overwhelmingly a lot of them. You know, some of them are busts like this guy, so he shouldn't count. You know, they don't even have the same stats. Like that QB Beastly in the video had 94 throw power. All of these bums have, 84, 81, 85 throw power. So you can't compare them because the other guy is so much better. Okay, well then here you go. Example number 2, Jason Biggs, dual threat athlete. Let's go review his stats, shall we? 94 throw power. Where have I seen that number before? That's funny. 87 throw short. Mine actually is better throw short, which is funny. His has better throw medium and about the same throw deep. Again, almost the same acceleration, 88 to 89. Mine's actually quicker at 83 speed. We have the same throw on the run. You get the point, right? I can pretty much overlap all 3 of these QBs I've shown you, whether it's his QB, my QB, or the 2-star QB. Notice how it's all about the same. That's because generally speaking, most of the time, they're going to be normal or impact devs. Generally speaking, most of the time. But Beastly, as I hear you aggressively typing with your Dorito dust fingertips on your keyboard, clearly you can't compare his example with your example because yours guy's a bust. Okay, well, what about this guy? Stephen Wolf, who again, I would argue is better than his. 95 throw power, better. 85 short, 82 medium, 81 deep, 88 acceleration, 83 speed, 81. Like, they either have the same stats or my guy is better. And he's impact dev. Because again, like I've mentioned, athletes, most of them are designed to give you higher inflated base stats because they're athletes. That's how they work. So whether it's the Terry 2-star account, which I just showed you an example of that, of like a 2-star having the same stats as a 3-star, because that's how that works. Or it's, this example or this, there's 3 examples I've just given you of players with generally the exact same stat spread, and they were normal or impact dev. Technically, his guy could be elite dev, right? It could be. But shame on him for showing you an example that's super rare, that will not happen for 99.9% of people. I don't do that. When I give tips and tricks, mine can be applied universally across the board. His can't. Or at least from the one video I've seen, his can't. And from the amount of nonsense misinformation that one video showed me, I'm scared to click on any more of his content because the misinformation is crazy. And again, 17,000 people clicked on that video. That video got 300 and something likes. This is the reason why I have such a hard time on content creators, is because he knows better. And if he doesn't know better, he shouldn't be telling people things as if he does know better, right? You can't plead ignorance and also plead intelligence at the same time. You either don't know better and you're bullshitting, or you do know better and you're just, again, lying. But Beastly, even though you've shown 3 examples of 3 QBs, whether they're 2 stars or 3 stars, all dual threat athlete QBs, all of them were normal or impact dev, that's unfair because they don't have elite dev trait. Well, here's someone who does have an elite dev trait, and you want to look at how bad his stats are. Again, I'm kind of like beating this with like beating a dead horse here. I'm beating it like a drum. This guy was ranked 738th in the class. He's the state ranked 35th prospect, and of the position, he's 43. He's elite dev. This dude is going to basically have no stat caps. This guy with like 2, maybe 3 years of proper development is going to be insane. But guess what? You would skip him. You know why you would skip him? Because he doesn't have 94 throw power. His is only 85. He doesn't have 86 throw short. His is 67 throw short. He doesn't have 81 or 80, whatever the hell it was, medium, right? You get the point, though. Down here in the 1-star, the 2-star, and the 3-star range, it's a shit show. I'm not going to say random, but the probability of you getting a great dev trait down here is astronomically small. It's very, very, very small. So why would you ever bank or, anticipate or prepare for a small chance when you can just get a 4-star or a 5-star? And just to break down like probability for people who are confused when I keep saying these like numbers. There are only 32 5-star prospects in every single class. There are only 32. Out of that 32 bunch, statistically speaking, a few of them are going to be elite dev and quite a few are going to be star dev. So analytically speaking, you don't have a 1 in 32 chance of finding the elite dev. It's more like, if I had to ballpark it, probably a 5 out of 32 chance or like a 10 out of 32 chance. So your odds of getting a dev trait is very high up there. And that, proportionate, that kind of evens out for 4-stars as well. Yes, there are several hundred 4-star prospects in every single class, but there's also, I would ballpark it, between 50 and 100 players with star or elite dev prospects. So analytically, you have like a 1 in 3 chance of striking gold with 5 stars. And for 4 stars, it's like a 1 in 4, a 1 in 5 chance. But down here with the 3 stars, you're talking like 1 in 1,000. Right? Like, again, I only filtered by dual threat 3-star athletes. If you were to filter this by the 1 stars, the 2 stars, the 3 stars, the 4 stars, and the 5-star dual threat athletes, you are going to find an overwhelming amount of normal and impact devs. You might legitimately scout, I'm not even trolling, like 75 people. And you might only get normal or impact dev because most of them are meant to be normal or impact dev. Finding players like Desmond Sharp or Alonzo Pears or Jake MacGyver. That's not how it's spelled, but I'm going to call him MacGyver anyways. Jake over here. Yeah, you can totally find star devs. You can. You can totally find elite devs. You can. They spawn in all stars, all dev traits, all archetypes. They spawn everywhere. All heights, all sizes, all weights. Doesn't matter. They spawn everywhere. The problem is consistently banking on that, which is the problem here. Right? You can't consistently do it. Furthermore, if you just look at these other 2 prospects who are both star dev, they have bad throw power, they have bad throw short, they have bad throwing stats, so he would have passed on all 3 of these guys, and guess what? They were the 3 best players in this class of all dual threat 3-star athletes. All of these would have got skipped. All of them. The other, 12 would have also been skipped. This entire class would have been skipped, except for the 2 guys who are here who wouldn't have been skipped, who were a whopping normal dev and impact dev. So, again, I will reiterate at the end of this video, do not go and harass this man. If I see anyone or catch wind of anyone harassing this man from my video, you're going to get banned. Right? I'm critiquing his content. I am trying to educate him with his, and I quote, 10 years of experience, and the people who watch his content, that you need to be very weary with a lot of content creators because they will peddle you nonsense and not have anything to back it up. Right? When I say something, I show it. That's why I always scoff at other content creators who just make these nonsensical claims and then just be like, trust me, bro. It's like, that's not how it works. But either way, this video's going to probably be like way too long. I do apologize. I turned a 5-minute video into a 45-minute rant, but just a little small video for you guys on, probably going to upload this on Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Go share it with your family. Much love. And let's go ahead and roll the outro, because the outro is might be a bit corny or cliche, but I appreciate many things in this world. My family, my health, so much. And also up there very high on that list is you guys. So I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And let's get that outro, shall we? As always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, afternoon, or day, depending on whatever time you watch my content in the future. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, drop me a follow or sub on Twitch. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you can, please become a member. Members get early access to all the kit videos and or content like you're watching here. They get perks in the Discord and other perks on the channel, like prioritized videos and streams and yada, yada, yada. So if you can, please become a member. It does support me a ton. And special shout out to all of our goats right here, all of our people who are members. I appreciate y'all. Much love, and I will see you in the next one. Deuces.